now, yeah. Okay,
Yep,
so
seems
let's
to work
see.
now. Well
How many
done.
people are joining? Um, yeah, I saw you leave. Okay, so somebody joined. Andrea again. Hey, welcome, Andrea. How you doing? So, welcome, guys. Welcome back for those joining again. And sorry about that, Stevo. Thank you so much for your patience. Yeah, thank you very much. Sorry about that. I don't know why it was lagging. Sorry about that, everyone. Um, that it was lagging. I hope it's working now. It should be working now because I also see it um, on the screen. So yeah, once again, sorry about that. So yeah, here we are with Stevo. I think yeah they could see you now perfectly. So yeah, welcome. And how you been? How was your day?
Okay. I'm fine. I'm great. It's been a rainy day today in Germany, but that's a good excuse to stay in and you know, have a good time.
All right,
And
all
about
right.
yourself?
Yeah, I've been doing alright. I don't know what kind of weather it is because he keeps me in the suitcase. He doesn't let me go out. Yeah, yeah, it's okay, Chris. But we're here at least. What do you mean it's okay, Lane? I don't want to go outside, Lane. I don't want to stay here all day. Yeah, I know, but you know, I don't know, man. All right, okay, Chris. Can we get started with this interview? We're not gonna fight again. Alright, okay, sorry, Lane. So, anyways, yeah, Steve is a ventriloquist and he's also a doctor, which we will be talking about both. Uh, yeah, he's a doctor. I've heard of that. And is he a good doctor? Yeah, he's a great doctor. How do you know? Well, have you talked to the patients?
Chris. I'm retired as a doctor now, but my specialty was amputations. So I don't think you want to get a free sample of that.
All right,
Hmm,
okay.
there we go.
Anyways, we're gonna be talking about the ventriloquism, okay?
Right.
So,
Ventriloquism. That's
of course, you want to ask it or me? Well, I guess I'll ask it the first question because I'm the ventriloquist. Alright, okay, sorry, man. Of course, the basic question for every ventriloquist would be, when did you get started? Uh,
Yeah, when did I get started? That was a long, long time ago. I got started as a teenager, so we're talking mid 70s, 1970s, so for like 50 years ago. At that time, I was learning English at school. I live in Germany. I am German. I was born and lived in Germany most of my life. So at that time, I was learning English at school. And one good way to learn a foreign language is to watch movies and watch what's on TV in that foreign language. But in Germany, all movies on TV are dubbed. So everybody speaks German on German TV. So I could watch American movies, but everybody would speak German. With one exception, they used to have on Saturday night, they would show an American movie with the original American voices. And it could be a western or a gangster movie or some sort of feature film. And one night, it just by coincidence happened to be a movie called "I Can." You Can Cheat an Honest Man. That's the name of the movie. It made in 1939, and it featured a famous ventriloquist, Edgar Bergen, with his puppets Charlie McCarthy and Mortimer Snerd. And I was so carried away. I just loved it. It was so funny, and I was so fascinated that I wanted to be a ventriloquist. So that was back in 1974, 73, around that time. But I have to remind you that back then we didn't have computers, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have all the
really?
social media you have these days. So what could I do? I went to the library. I looked through the files. They had paper file, card, and anything on ventriloquism, and it was next to nothing. It was just four lines in a dictionary. The art of you know performing with a puppet and making your voice come from different places. It was very like, yeah, I know that. So, but how do you do it? How can you learn it? Whatever. And at that time, a lot of ventriloquists thought it would be wise not to let people know that you can learn it. You actually have to learn it if you want to do it. At that time, the idea was that you would tell people that, oh, it's a gift. It's just some people just happen to be ventriloquists, and they can do it. And if you're not a born ventriloquist, there's no way you can learn it. They try to protect their trade,
Basically, they're
which,
saying they were just born as a ventriloquist.
yeah, that's what they
Oh my
told everybody,
god.
that they found out that they are ventriloquists. Like, I found out I have 3 kidneys, or I found out that I can whatever walk on my hands, which is false, and it's true. And I don't think it's even smart to say that, because if people know it's an art form that you have to practice, that you have to learn, you have to study, you have to put in time to practice, then they appreciate it a lot more. But anyway, so I didn't have any access to that. And a couple of years later, I went to London in England, and they have a huge bookstore there. I think it's still there. It's called Foyles, Foyle, Foyles Bookstore. For a while, they were even listed in the Guinness Book of Records as the largest bookstore in the world. And at the time, they claimed that they had a book on any subject. So I wanted to take them to the test. And I went to the little information booth at the entrance, and said, where would I find a book on ventriloquism? And without missing a beat, the guy said, "Oh, that will be under hobbies, sir. 3rd floor on the right." So I, marched up the stairs to the 3rd floor, and I found 2 books on ventriloquism, and I bought one. It's called "I Can See Your Lips Moving" by Valentine Vox. It's a wonderful coffee table book. If you ever get a chance to find one, it's a marvelous book. And it told me about the art and the history of ventriloquism, and had a little how-to section. So in theory, I knew how to be a ventriloquist, but it's like a cookbook. If you buy a cookbook, you get a recipe and you can read the recipe, but you don't know what it will taste like. So I couldn't really do much with it, but it kept my love of the art, or my desire to be a ventriloquist, alive. And we fast forward a couple of years later, I went to Berlin in Germany, which at that time, before the wall fell down, was a separate part of the Western world inside the Eastern Bloc. So it was a wall, Berlin Wall all around it. And I went to a flea market, and I found an old ventriloquist dummy in a suitcase with grease paint and with little playbills and stuff. It was from the estate of an old vaudevillian ventriloquist. And the
Yeah,
person who had that didn't even know what it was. Chris?
yeah, just to say to anyone here, us puppets, we banished the word dummy, so, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
okay
if
though,
you,
Theo. That was back then, we
yeah,
understand.
it was a ventriloquial figure, to
There
be,
you go. Thank you, Theo.
but he wasn't a mannequin American, because he was German, with real human hair, and he had a device so he could smoke a cigar on stage. But the person who sold it didn't know anything about the person who owned it, and so I bought it very cheaply. So now I had a real ventriloquist figure character, Chris. But I was still the dummy, because I couldn't do and didn't know what happened. And so
That's a
we
good joke.
fast forward a few more years, and in 1986, I was in New York City, New York, and I went to a magic store called Lou Tannen's Magic Store,
Yeah, that's
because I had
yeah,
been,
that is one of the, if not the oldest magic store here
is
in the
it?
United
Yeah.
States.
So, I was a magician at the time. I did some coin magic and little magic. So I was told that if you're in New York City, go to Tannen's Magic Store, and it was a great experience. But the greatest thing for me was that they had ventriloquist figures there for sale, and also the information about a way to become a ventriloquist, a little coupon from the Mayher Studios in Littleton, Colorado at the time, which was a mail order course, and they were selling ventriloquist figures and other material. So I got this coupon. I called up the Mayher Studios. I talked to Adelia Detweiler. She's passed on by now, but she was a very lovely lady. So I ordered the Mayher course, and with that came the membership of the North American Association of Ventriloquists. So I took the Mayher course, and to finish it, to graduate from that course, you have to do a public performance. Right?
Oh,
And yeah, you had to get someone to witness that you've done a public
yeah,
show.
that's kind of cool.
So I played with ventriloquism, and I liked it, but it was just at home for my own pleasure, and not performing publicly and stuff. But I had to perform publicly eventually, because I wanted to graduate from the Mayher course. So and I was working at a hospital there. Chris, you mentioned already that I'm a doctor, and I used to work in a hospital. And it was my professor's birthday, and he gave a party at the hospital, and I had our ventriloquial figure at the time, which is still with me. Theo came out, and the place where I was working, because I'm an orthopedic surgeon, was called the Department for Technische Orthopädie, for technical orthopedics, for prosthetics and orthotics. Like I said, my main field of interest was amputations and fitting artificial limbs prosthesis. So I called that figure for the day. I called him Theo, as in T-O, Theo. And he was telling stories about what happened every day, little, poking fun at people. So he became Theo, and he still is. In English, it's Theo, and that's how Theo got his name.
He also
And
has
he still is with me.
an
So
origin
he's
about his name
yeah,
also.
Theo.
When I remember you telling me when we met at the beginning, and you showed me your friend Theo. Yeah, another one
Yeah.
I met, Theo, Kristen. Sorry. Sorry, sometimes I interrupt. Yeah, it's okay. But yeah, we met Theo, and it was a great honor. And you also
he had
said
he
he had
had
a
great
great.
fun. He keeps telling me about that golden coffee he had with you, Chris. It was an amazing experience for me to see Theo, find a friend in America, and I was completely left out of the picture when Chris and Theo got together. They didn't need me.
Yeah, well,
That's
you
for
know,
sure.
Steve, though, when us puppets get together, we tend to forget our ventriloquists, so,
Mm, yeah,
forgive us. But yeah, I mean,
I found out. Yeah.
he has
So
really
and again with
interesting.
the with that membership of the North American Association of Ventriloquists, they go with a newsletter. They would send out a little paper, like a Xerox, very not a very flashy magazine about ventriloquist, and that's how I heard about the ventriloquist convention. It was a report there about the annual ventriloquist convention held in Fort Mitchell, Kentucky, and I decided I had to go there. I had to try to meet the community and meet other ventriloquists because almost everywhere in the world, ventriloquists are pretty isolated. You're the only one in your family. You're the only one in your school. You may be the only one in your town. Yeah, Chris, you know what I'm talking about. So as a ventriloquist, it's very hard to find uh, people who feel the same, who you have the same love of the art. And at that time, back then, you couldn't just Google ventriloquism and find a group on Discord or TikTok or Facebook or whatever there is these days. At that time, you were just very much on your own. So all the way back to 1989, would you believe, I traveled to the United States and I attended my first international ventriloquist convention, and I decided that I was, if the good Lord permitting, I would come back every day because it is it's a wonderful community. It was very interesting, very nice, and very honest and very authentic people. And interestingly enough, people from all walks of life, people from different parts of the world, people from all states of the United States, people from different ethnic background, different places where they perform. There were the people who do ventriloquism in the context of gospel work, the gospel ventriloquists who use it to preach and to spread the word of the Bible. There were people performing in nightclubs or policemen using it for drug prevention. There were people who just do it for the fun of it, and people who have all types of civilian lives. In a way, in a nutshell, the whole cosmos, but they all share that one thing we all share when we're there. That's the love of the art of ventriloquism. So I decided to come back, and then over the years, I met more and more people from other countries, and then one year they introduced an international show for performers from other countries, and I became part of that uh, fixture in the schedule of the International Ventriloquist Convention, and that's why I keep coming back, and I love it. And that's how I met Nikolas 2 or 3 years ago. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that was in
And I
2022.
also Theo met Chris, and they made some arrangement to meet when you were back at home,
Yeah,
and we did that.
we drank some coffee at a coffee shop. The
Yeah,
Golden Cappuccino.
yeah,
2014.
the Golden Casino in
Yeah, because
Astoria, New York. Yeah, I
exactly.
had never been to Astoria, but Theo said I had to go there. He had to meet someone, so
Yeah.
we I went to this place called Astoria, which I thought was, I don't know, it's a cigarette brand or something. I had never clue what it was or where it was,
Yeah, it was
and
an
I found out
Albanian cafe.
they have a huge Greek community over in Astoria, and so we went to this cafe, and their signature thing on their menu is a golden cappuccino, and there are photos to prove it that Chris and Nick went there, and Theo and Chris were treated to a golden cappuccino at this cafe. But very strange experience for me to be there, and
Yeah, I mean, we posted a video too. Yeah, yeah, the video has been posted already
yeah,
on YouTube and TikTok. So I think some
yeah,
people have seen it. Maybe they'd have to see it again to recall. Um, but that was a great experience. I mean, yeah, we met 2 years ago at the Ventriloquist convention, which a lot of people ask also. They've probably asked you as well through all these years. It's a question that when you perform a show, everyone will ask, "Oh, when did you get started?" Or I want to start also. Oh, you never started ventriloquism? No, no, I am a ventriloquist. Oh, you are? Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize. Okay. I knew what you were saying. I'm saying. So a lot of people ask, I want to do this too. And you're asking Leon? No, you're asking Steve. No, what are you doing? Okay, sorry, Leon. What are you doing? Okay. A lot of people ask you that or other ventriloquists or me. I want to start as a ventriloquist. What do I do? Should I get a puppet? Where do I get a puppet? Where can I learn? Where do I go to learn? So I think an answer that always will come up is the ventriloquist convention is a great place to learn. Would you
yeah.
say so with all
And
the community and all the years that you've gone to in Kentucky? There was also one in Vegas. So
yeah, at one time they discontinued the annual thing in Kentucky, I think in 99 or 2000, and then Valentine Vox created a international ventriloquist festival in Las Vegas from I think 99 or 2000 through 2004. So I flew to Las Vegas. I performed in Vegas a couple of times, which was again quite an experience for an entertainer to be on stage in one of these huge hotels and casinos. They're all casinos and hotels, and they have beautiful stages and beautiful uh, surrounding for any entertainer, any performer to go there. And then they started the International Ventriloquist Conventions at the Vent Haven Museum in Fort Mitchell, Kentucky, which is the reason why people say, "Why are you going to Fort Mitchell, Kentucky? Where in the world is that?" And I said, "Well, it's a small town very close to Cincinnati, Ohio, but they have a museum, and it's the only museum that's entirely and
dedicated to it.
exclusively dedicated to the art of ventriloquism, with a tremendous collection of ventriloquial figures and other playbills and stuff, and photos and videos. So it's a great place to visit when you're there. There are other museums that have a little section on ventriloquism, but to the best of my knowledge, that's the only real museum, definitely of that scale,
Yeah, and the
that's
biggest.
dedicated exclusively to the art of ventriloquism, run by lovely people, by very nice people who know a lot about the art of ventriloquism. And because it was the private home of a collector in the 20th century, it became uh, what it is, a vent haven, a safe place for ventriloquists to meet. And that's why we have the annual convention there. So yeah, for a number of years, I've been part of the organizing team, presenting the international show with international performers from all continents, from everywhere around the world. So I met these people, and that was great. And I visited with some of them in their home countries, which is another perk. If you're a ventriloquist, if you go to some other ventriloquist home, you're welcome. We've had American ventriloquists and ventriloquists from other countries in our home here in Germany, and I've been invited to teach ventriloquism and perform. I've been to Tokyo in Japan to Takeshi-san, who has a Japanese organization. And just this year in April, I went over to Brazil, to Sao Paulo, to teach ventriloquism in Sao Paulo, and so it's a great way to meet people from other countries and to get firsthand information of how they live and what the performing arts are like there. And it beats any contact you can have virtually on the internet. And that's why I'm so happy and glad that Chris and Nick, that we met in real life, as it's called today. And I've really invited you to come over to my place in Germany
Ah,
And I know you've been to Germany, Nick, and Chris too. You've been to Europe. You have European roots. So if you ever get a chance to come across, you need to look me up and see the Dummy Depot.
hmm. Yeah, we'd love to. I tell this guy, man, let's go to Germany. That this guy's like, no, that I gotta do this, that I gotta do that. Come on, man, at least let me go. At least Theo will take care of me.
And you've been to Germany. You've been to the Bayern München.
Yeah, we went to yeah, as you can see the ball in the background also that we have always. We went to Munich, but we didn't get to stay much. We stayed um few days. Yeah, that's still a lot. Yeah, okay, yeah, it is, but we didn't get to see really much of the city except for like the outside of the hotel. But we would love to go again and hopefully soon because yeah, I mean we went there to watch our favorite team. You're 13. Yeah, I don't watch soccer. You don't? No, a little later. I'll go 13. All right, okay. So yeah, it was a great experience, and we'd love to go again, as we would love to visit any other country because you learn so much while going to experience other cultures, other countries, which is what I wanted to ask you, which was one of the questions. And from that question, from the first question I've asked you with when did you get started in ventriloquism, you answered a lot with what inspired you also, and one of the questions also, since now this is the topic we're talking about, is you said you went to Brazil, you've been to the United States, Germany, and there have been gatherings and conventions with other ventriloquists. And I wanted to ask you, what have you noticed? What are some cool things you've noticed in these different environments where ventriloquists have gathered? What are some things you've noticed?
Well, one of the things these days with the internet and with the English language really being the uh, lingua franca, as we say, the common language for most people who come from countries with smaller communities. English is, especially around Europe and definitely around Northern America, it's the one language everybody speaks. So it's much easier if you're native tongue or if you're fluent in English to get access to ventriloquists on YouTube or any other media. Whereas it is if you're German or if you're say French or Spanish or Portuguese, then it's a lot more difficult. And I found in Brazil, where people speak Portuguese, and it's a huge country. It's got I don't know 80 million people or something in
Oh yeah.
Brazil. Is that they have very limited access to other ventriloquists, and coming there and telling them about famous names in ventriloquism these days, like Terry Fader or Jeff Dunham or Ron Lucas, and encouraging them to look them up and look for specific things that these artists do so well and do so perfectly helps them. But the real interesting thing is that in ventriloquism there is so much unexplored. There's so much room to be and develop your own style and your own type. I think, Chris, you're very unique.
Oh, come
You're
on. No, no, stop
unmistakable.
that.
You. I mean, it's a shame you have to be with Nikolas all the time, but I'm sure you're but I'm sure you're a good guy and you're faithful and true to your to the person who brought you around. But no, in Brazil it was interesting for me because they have puppet makers there. They make their own puppets. They have a big tradition in magic and ventriloquism, and to see what kind of acts they do and what kind of ideas they have about ventriloquism. Some of it was very very interesting. It's a shame I don't speak Portuguese very well. I did study a little bit so I could understand at least a bit. But and then I was lucky again to have Brazilian friends who speak English very well. Wally Santana from Sao
Yeah,
Paulo and
another
Juan
great
and Lara,
ventriloquist.
who helped me, who speak English fluently and who could translate for me. But it's a huge culture, and we made it a point to get people from different cultures to come and perform at the International Ventriloquist Conventions. We had people from Japan, people from India, people from Singapore, to name a few Asian
Which is
countries.
one of the many things at the ventriloquist convention, which I wanted to say for everyone uh, who's here and would have thought about going to the ventriloquist convention, uh, but aren't too familiar. It is one of the many cool things that have always been there is the international show. There are many other lectures, performances, and many, many other things. And once again, sorry to interrupt, Steve. I just wanted to say, just to thank everyone who joined. I really, really appreciate it. I do too. We're both here. Yeah, all three of us. Right. Yeah, Steve too. And Theo. Yeah, Theo. Who's gonna say
Well,
hello as
and
well?
also it has to be pointed out to those who may be familiar with the related art of magic that unlike different from what the rule is at some magic conventions and definitely at most magic clubs is that in ventriloquism you don't have to qualify. Nobody takes you to a test or something. If you love the art, if you're interested in the art of ventriloquism, you're most welcome at the ventriloquist convention. Everybody shares. There are no secrets hidden. It's just a big family reunion. It's a true, safe, fun place to be and to meet the stars and meet upcoming ventriloquists or people from, as I say, all wakes of life. And I found that interesting from the very first day that I was there, that I felt welcome, and people went out of their way to take me along to say, have you seen this? And make sure you catch that act. And uh,
Yeah, it was
you,
the same for me.
professionals would be happy to share knowledge and say, where did I find this, and what puppet makers do I go to, who repairs my stage partner,
Oh,
and
like
and all
that.
these
Yeah.
things. Where do you go shopping for clothes? It's not easy. All things like that. And where do you get material? How do you get gigs to perform? And also like the very basics. And we've had people at the ventriloquist convention who just came there driving their juniors who were not old enough to drive or not old enough to be around a convention on their own, and some of them just loved it and stayed on and came, or partners, husbands, wives of ventriloquists, to say, this is my husband's hobby, and I go there. Most of them go only once, and they know it's a fun place for ventriloquists, and not much else happening there. But again, it's a unique experience, and anybody who's interested in the art of ventriloquism or wants to write an article about this museum, that's the week of the year, the third week of July, to be in Fort Mitchell or Cincinnati, and go there and meet 400
Okay.
ventriloquists
Yeah.
from age, I don't know, the youngest 4, 5, 6 years old, who perform to up to
Yes.
people in their 80s and even in the 90s. We've had really old people perform and tell the stories, tell the campfire stories of TV or whatever happened in their
Performances
lives.
they've done.
There's so many uh, wild stories now with America's Got Talent. People who went on America's Got Talent. We had the first winner to ever win a national talent contest, which was not in America. It was in Sweden. Cecilia won Sweden's Got Talent with Celia and Totti with her monkey before Terry Fader won America's Got Talent in America. So yes, all that happens at the convention, and it's great people you meet, and you can exchange ideas and get their addresses and make a tour of the world visiting with them.
Yeah, and it's an amazing community to learn for those who are interested in ventriloquism because magic conventions, all types of conventions, of course, are there to be like a family with the people who share the same interest. But it's a little bit different from magic conventions because in magic there are secrets, and of course, some people don't really want to share them, or most people don't want to share those secrets because they want to keep the tricks. Uh, and in ventriloquism, there are no secrets. There is a secret. You know,
Well, there's
rehearsal
one
person.
secret, and I can only tell it if you make sure that Chris can't hear it.
Okay, do I close my
So
ear? All right. Okay.
yeah, have him hold
Well,
his
I mean,
ears,
wait a second,
and
Chris.
Chris,
You can't hear anything. You
make
can't hear
if you.
anything. Wait, hold on. We could do it like this because Chris doesn't have the headphones on, so he can't hear anything. No, then I'm a lip reader. You're a lip reader.
Yeah.
I can read
So
his
so what
lips.
what what I'll do? I'll tell the secret,
Put your
and
hand
Chris
down.
can't read my
Come
lips,
on, man.
because the only secret in ventriloquism is the puppets don't talk. The ventriloquist does the talking. Sorry, Chris, you can hear me now, but you couldn't hear when I told the only secret in ventriloquism. And Nick was never gonna tell you, and none of the people who's who comment will let you in on that one secret of ventriloquism. So I'm sorry, that's the only secret there is.
I can't believe I didn't hear it, man. You put your mouth, your hand in front of your mouth. Oh my god! You could have said it without moving your lips.
Yeah, I could have.
Yeah, like, but I think
Well, when I speak, I move my lips, and when Theo speaks, I don't move my lips. So it's just with you and Nick.
yeah, I don't move my lips when he speaks too, but it's not the same. Yeah, all right, okay, whatever. But before we go on, I want to say thank you for those joining, and if you do have questions they want to ask, I was thinking maybe to put them at the end, but feel free to put
Put
them
them in the
now, and I'll
comment
scroll
now. We
back
can.
up and we can read
Yeah.
them at the end. So
Yeah.
feel free to put them, maybe because you don't want to forget your question, and yeah. So, anyways, uh,
That's Wale, by the way.
oh yeah,
With
hola
it, who has a
Wally.
Wale Santana, who has a podcast in Portuguese because he's from Brazil. He's probably the one ventriloquist who performed in front of the largest audience, live audience, because he was the opening act for a rock band called Coldplay when they came to Sao
Wow,
Paulo.
really?
And Wale was in the big stadium and opened the show for Coldplay. So I think 72,000 people for this concert. So that's a
Wow,
live audience that is really something different to handle. But
that is a
so
whole stadium.
a whole stadium,
Oh my
72,000 people.
god!
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, me neither.
You didn't know that? Well, it was it's a funny story how he got that gig. He after the convention he stayed on and went to downtown Cincinnati to visit a theater, a historical theater there, and he just by coincidence ran into people who were organizing, um, rock bands and shows, and that's how he got the contact with them. And when they found out that Coldplay was coming to Sao Paulo, they got in touch with him and they asked him to perform at the stadium. And I saw the footage, so that's really like mind-boggling to think, ooh, you're gonna go out there and have 72,000 people in a stadium with all the big screens and all the sound and stuff. So yeah, but that happens, and sometimes audiences can be very small. It can be, I don't know, two,
Four
three, four
people.
people or
Yeah.
no one. And then on the other hand, there are people performing in front of audiences every evening, every night. Like when you play Vegas, like when Ron Lucas had his show at the Rio, he had his own theater with I don't know 100 seats, and he did I don't know 20 shows a week, something like that. And Stephen Knowles performed at the Comedy Barn in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. It seats about I think 400, and he had again more than 300 shows, 400 shows a year. So there's a lot of performers out there who do a lot of shows, but then there are others who are happy just to be ventriloquists at home and be their closet ventriloquists or do it at their church or at their school at the private function, and that's okay. There's no
Yeah.
need to do one or the other, or that's a good thing about ventriloquism,
Yeah.
isn't it?
So, we have a question already, so we'll read that near the end
Yeah.
once again. Uh, if you have questions, put them down so you don't forget them, and we'll get them to the end. And yeah, thank you once again for everyone who has joined, and I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as we are. Yeah, I am. Yeah, but you're here with us. Yeah, but I'm still enjoying it as a viewer. Yeah, but you're not a viewer. Well, I kind of am. All right. Okay. Well, anyways, the next question I want to ask you is, we have I have Chris here, but yeah, it's not even. It's not even. It's not an even number. So,
Mm.
where
Yeah, I
is
could see if
Theo?
I could find out if Theo is back. He went out. He said he didn't want to be around for the technique and he always hates. He dodges the sound check. He hates being uh, as you know, before a stage show, there's always stage rehearsal, and you go and do a sound check, you do a light check, you do all that, and he just hates it, and he just goes out and I know Chris and Theo were hiding backstage when we did the sound check at Vent Fest in Spencer last year, and we caught them in the backstage area chatting away, and
Yeah,
I
we're like
even
in a
we have a
line
photo
anyway.
of that. Chris. So I'm sorry to tell on you this way, but I'm not sure if. Oh yeah, he's back. Theo, you want to come up now? Yes. Now, yeah. Is Chris there? Yes, Chris is there. Man,
Ah, get out of here,
there we
man.
go. Yeah. Oh,
Hey, Theo, how's it
hi, Chris.
going? How
Hey,
you?
how you doing, man?
I'm doing
Hey,
alright. What about you? How's everything?
who is that guy with the earphones?
And this guy,
That's
he's a
Nick.
tech guy. He's a sound guy. Don't worry about him. What do you mean?
Yeah.
He's
You
just a
said that
sound
you're
guy.
done with the tech stuff. Yeah, well, it's this is Nick.
Hi Theo, how's it going? You gotta get the
Hi.
camera out of here. So yeah, I mean, this is Theo for everyone who is watching the live. This is
Theoretical.
his
That's theoretical.
yeah, that's the that's what I was gonna ask you
Did you
before.
tell? I told them the story. The whole story. Well, part of it. Which, well, it's don't never mind.
So is
Yeah,
Theo your main character? And you told the story.
yeah.
Was it Theo about the figure you were talking about that you found at the beginning? Uh,
No, this is not the figure. Actually, I found
okay,
this.
close.
I found Theo, who was the head, was built in the early 1960s in England by a man called Len Insall and sold through the Devonport Magic Company. And Theo, this head was used by a California ventriloquist, and I have another head, another version, so to speak, of Theo, who was with a Canadian ventriloquist, Gene Sneed, and he's even older than this Theo. So that's not the only one. No, well, it's a long story. So and then when I found the head through the swap and sell ads in this newsletter that Mayo Studios sent out, and I found that the paint job was not very good. So eventually, I found someone to do a little makeup. A new paint job. Yes, you'll
Oh,
like it.
makeup? No, and
Yeah.
that's not for me though. Come on.
Which was a wonderful lady, Barbara Gwill, and her husband Ray Gwill, who live in on the Pacific coast, and they were kind enough to do some sort of inside work, some neurosurgery on him. So now he's got a whole range of movements. He can wink, wink,
Oh,
and
God.
sometimes it
Oh,
happens.
okay.
So when I talk too much about ventriloquism, and Theo gets kind of bored, then and I tell about things that it happens that his eyes just droop, and he just thought, "You done that? No, you won't." That happens sometimes. So yeah, Barbara repainted him, and that's why he's so nice. And I don't age. No, you don't.
I
Unlike
know, me
you.
too, man. This is the good thing about
See?
us, that it gets annoying sometimes because, some people will say, "Oh, Nick, I've been watching your videos since you were young. Man, you've grown
It's our
up."
secret.
And then they
Now,
tell,
Chris, this is our secret.
uh, 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 and they'll me.
You can't. I can do anything. Well,
Yeah,
you can do a lot. I can
what
do
can you
anything.
do?
I can do anything. Well, you can even move. Uh, you can move your ears. I can do anything. Then move your ears. Now, please. Yeah, and he can move as you see. Theo can move his upper lip. Please do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh my
and he
god.
can do something that Chris even can't do. He can do yes, yes. It's always at this point of the. This is okay, and he can do it the other way around. Now go back the other way. Like, yeah, there you go. There you go.
Oh my, I can't
Okay.
do that, man.
I'm dizzy
I
now.
can't turn my head like that, man.
I'm
It's
gonna throw
crazy.
up. Where can I puke? You don't. Getting sick. Yes. But then
Theo, the thing
for
is,
for our audience, for our viewers who don't know, this is what we call a hard figure. It's made of paper mache. What? Yeah, you're made of paper mache, not wood. No, some are carved from wood. Some
yeah,
are made from some
uh,
plastic, but this
not
head
as
actually is
many
made
as
from
before,
paper mache.
Yeah.
Paper
And we call
mache.
them hard
Yes.
figures because
Okay.
they're hard headed.
Yes, but they're just as nice, and they can be nice.
Maybe. I don't know. Are
Usually they're
they?
not. There you go.
So what is
But this
it?
is a traditional type, and in the say in the early '60s and '70s, before the days of the soft puppets like Jim Henson's Muppet type of puppets came along, this was the about the only type of ventriloquist figure you would see
Yeah,
the cheeky boy type, and um, again, we don't age.
exactly.
Well, you do age. You still look young. I still am. Yes,
Except for
yes,
me,
yes,
I
yes.
age a little bit. Yeah, yeah. When you get into fights like me, you start to age like this. Look, look. Wait, hold on. Why isn't it unfocused?
Yeah.
And when you get into fights, that's what happens, man. Don't get into fights, guys.
Get a facelift. Yeah,
What happened?
you may have to get a facelift.
No, no, I'm not gonna do that. No, no, no. That's not for me. No, no. But the thing is crazy, man. Look at how many teeth he has. I only have four. Look at this. One, two,
And
three, four. Look at how many he has.
he's got hands.
What
Yeah,
about teeth?
sure.
Yeah, look at him.
Yeah, he's got feet. Let me pull up my foot. There you
No,
go.
no, no.
He's
Teeth,
got
teeth. Like,
teeth.
yeah.
Teeth. Teeth.
Yeah, look at that. Oh my god. Is he a vampire? No, no, he's not a vampire. But yeah, I mean Theo's an amazing character. When I saw him the first
Thank
time,
you.
I was amazed because all the movements, the hair as well. Yeah, I got good hair as well. Yeah, but his hair is better. Come on, just because his hair is the same color as yours doesn't mean it's better. Come on, man. but he's an amazing character. All those movements and what is it that makes you like his this character from what I've noticed more than others. Maybe you don't like him more than your other characters, but that's what I've noticed. Um, why is he like
He's Theo. Theo is my main stage
okay?
partner. Basically, well, in my show, I have other ventriloquial figures who help me. There's the old man Fritz. There's Charlie the monkey. So there are other figures that help me on stage because a full stage show is quite a challenge. So I have more friends to help me. But Theo has been, and I think he always will be, my main character because he was the one who came who followed me or who was my partner all the way through the process of learning and mastering it, and then getting a first performance, and then we moved to a different city. I got in touch with entertainers, with artists there, and they said, well, if you want to perform, make sure you have an act, make sure you perform well, and so they helped me to get a foot on stage in the Emsland in near Lingen, and so he was a partner then, and I got my first paid gigs. I went out to perform at street markets and fun fairs and birthdays and weddings. We did a lot of weddings, especially in summer. This is the time in the year when around the Emsland couples want to get married. So there were times when we were on a wedding every weekend. Now the funny bit is that they always have the same menu. There's a traditional menu that you serve at a wedding, which is good food and we love it. But if you get it every weekend, and the
Yeah,
bride and groom and the parents, they urge you, have some more. It's it's free. It's good food. And after a while, we go like, oh, yeah, it's wonderful. It's the best I ever had. But see, a ventriloquist cannot fill the stomach too much, or you can get some excuse. But we
yeah,
love the dessert, which is called Herrencreme. It's a vanilla soft, custard pudding, and we love that. We got a lot of that, a lot,
yeah.
a
I
lot.
never get
And
any food.
the
He doesn't let me eat. All right, okay, Chris, that's not true. He doesn't feed me. But
well,
yeah, I
well,
mean,
go to more weddings in Germany. They love it. That was big fun. So
yeah.
we did that for a while, quite busy, and so I grew kind of fond with you. And I noticed there was this question about ad libbing, about
Yeah.
not performing your.
If you want to
Um,
answer it now,
yeah, well, it's the thing that
yeah,
when you
from
see a ventriloquist on stage, you have to have an act.
K10 to
You
12.
have to
Thank you
have
very
your
much for asking.
material. You have to have your your rehearsed song or jokes or material. That's part of being prepared coming to a show. Whereas what you do, Nick, with Chris, and Chris helps you, I know, and what I like doing with Theo is just having a conversation, goofing off, doing stuff impromptu, off the cuff, as we say, improvising, and that's much easier if you know your event partner, your stage partner well. If you're familiar with the character, you know the what he likes and doesn't like, and
Yeah.
just know him well, then it's easier to go on stage or go on camera, go on a podcast or whatever, and just be natural and be yourself and be nice self. Yeah. We're ourselves. Ourselves. Selves.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
hard
I
to say.
mean, you want to
For
talk
you,
about
it
it?
is, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, improvising is, I think, one of the most beautiful aspects, and maybe you agree on this in a show. Maybe, like, in my opinion, it's sometimes, or most of the time, more, uh, it's better than the actual script at times. Like, there's an improvisation or something that happens, and if you're quick enough, if you've practiced enough, if you know your puppet enough, and you can assess the audience throughout the show enough, um, that improvisation will be very funny, hilarious, and it all comes down to practicing with the puppets. Some people say, oh, it's an improvisation, you can't practice improvisations, but you can. You you do.
Oh, I think you have to, but
Yeah.
it's like the same with you and Chris. It's the same with Theo and me. Uh, it's just even an exercise I tell people when I teach ventriloquism is that sit with your stage partner, with your event partner. Watch TV or Netflix or read a newspaper, whatever you do, and have the puppet allow the puppet to comment or to share a view or disagree, and that way you get familiar with animation, with the puppeteering aspect of it, with
Yeah,
art,
that's what I'm
with
saying, man.
making you look alive. I
Yeah.
am. I am alive.
So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Netflix and chill later. No, no, Chris. Yeah, okay, sorry. Okay, but yeah, I mean, it's all part of the act. And if you think about it, how many of your improvisations have also then been added to routines later? Like they've been added as
Exactly.
bits. So, or
Yeah,
improvisations
nothing
while you're
beats a
practicing.
well rehearsed ad lib, as we say.
Yeah,
Nothing beats a well rehearsed ad lib. So sometimes something comes up, and people ask me that, has Theo ever said anything that I did not expect?
yeah, that's
And
another good question.
it happened. Usually it doesn't. I mean, just let's be honest here. It's when we are on stage, it's an act that has been rehearsed and written and polished and done and performed. But there were instances that Theo came out with a line that surprised me at that very instant, and I was like, "Did did I see that? No, I did. Yes, you did." And it sort of surprised me, and it remained. It's part of the act now, and people think it's an ad lib or something that astonishes me. And it was the first time it came out, and now it isn't. No, because I know it's coming. Oh, you see it coming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that's another good question that I've been asked, and probably you have also been asked. Have you ever been surprised with something
Hmm.
the puppet has said? It's a question that
Yeah.
a lot of people ask and or uh, wonder about it, and it is like pretty interesting because we do get surprised as a. Why are you talking in a we? What do you mean? Why am I talking in we? You're a ventriloquist too. But I already told you. Alright, okay, sorry. But it does get surprising because all of that practice, all of that work you do before going on stage, when something comes out where you need to improvise and you say something and then it does surprise you, it's because of all of that work you've done, because it's in the
Hmm.
back of your mind, and then that's why you get surprised because you say, oh, where did this come from? So that's a very, very interesting
Sometimes
topic.
it's a joke with several possible punchlines, and maybe you think ahead. Which punchline am I going to use? What's the best for this audience? How's the timing? And then when you're out there and you feel the energy of the audience, and it's fun performance going on, and it works well, then yeah, if you're confident with your partner, if you know the character well, then it's probably like a say a jazz musician who can who knows the tune, who knows the melody, who knows the harmonies, and the whole band do, and then one gets a spot where they can improvise. And sometimes, just for the spur of the moment, the spirit of the moment brings out something that you have not planned for or you have not prepared, and that's the greatest moments that I can think of. That and you can train that funny bone. You can train that exercise. Being you practice being quick with a remark or with a snappy remark, and that's a character that's much easier for me to see in Theo than in say Fritz the old man who's kind of slow. Yeah, and he talks like that too. So,
Yeah, man, he has an old man puppet, man. Like, I can't stand that guy, man. One time I wanted to sell him on eBay. Who, the puppet? Yeah, man,
mm.
Professor Spencer. Yeah, why? He's annoying. What do you mean, why? How's he annoying? Well, Steeler, he has short time memory loss. I try and tell him something. This guy's like, what? What'd you say to me? What'd you say before? I can't
Yeah,
stand them. I don't know about you,
Chris,
Theo.
I can relate to that, Chris.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. You know what I'm saying?
His old man figure is just the same. He's old and he's slow and he smells funny. Oh, don't say that. He does. He
Yeah, sometimes
stinks. Oh,
he doesn't know what he's saying. Sometimes he asks me to change his diaper. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? Get out of here.
hey, that's an idea. No, we're not going to go there. No. So there, in any good ventriloquist shows, there will be more than one character. It depends a little bit on the variety of voices. It depends on what audiences you play, what type of theaters
Yeah,
your gigs you
obviously,
get
if
and
you have
play, and
a
where you
puppet
perform.
that's very vulgar, you're not gonna use him in a kids show. Uh,
Exactly, exactly. But there are people who perform in nightclubs or even I don't know, gay clubs or whatever clubs there are out there, and that requires a specific type of material that you would expect a rap song to be about different songs told in a different way than say a folk song or country and western song. They have their own rules and traditions, um, and the same applies to ventriloquism. There's a whole variety of all for very creative and very inventive ways to use ventriloquism, because ventriloquism can make anything or anyone talk, and
yeah,
that's a wild talent that we have to be able to make a bat or a dragon or you name it talk.
yeah.
Yes,
And there is a question. There are a
question.
couple questions, but there is one
Shoot,
relating to what we have been talking about
can I hear
recently
it?
from Keeksari. Thank you very much for joining, and thank you very much for asking the question. I hope you're enjoying the live.
I'm listening.
And um, they say, "Hey, question. I'm a puppeteer, but I don't know how to find the puppet. Is there a store or something?" In my opinion, um, you can also, you know, use anything at the beginning. Like
Oh,
some people are
absolutely.
lucky to find a puppet at a store or something, or you can even use a sock. Your sock? No, no, not
Absolutely.
my sock. Yeah, that would be kind of stinky. Okay, no, your own sock. But there are many stores, and I wanted to, because you are also more informed on
Yeah, I
topics.
kept telling my students there's no need to buy an expensive ventriloquia figure. It doesn't make you a better ventriloquist. It's the same misconception as if you bought an expensive set of golf clubs or a tennis racket, it would make you a better player at that sport. No, it doesn't. In fact, if you're good, I think Carlos would probably beat me with a fry pan instead of a tennis racket. So no, that's not the point. A very good way to start is, and a very cheap way too, is to get the peepers. Peepers is a just two eyes with a plastic eyes. You can put them
Yeah,
on your
I have
hand,
that
and you can make that
right
talk.
here.
Don't know if you have a set of peepers around. I don't. I don't. And then a sock puppet, a simple. I have a
Yeah,
washcloth that looks like a frog or a duck. Anything that moves the mouth and has eyes can be used as a ventriloquial figure to practice. And then you develop a character for your partner, you develop a voice, you develop material, a relationship as you go through learning process, the studying process of the art of ventriloquism. It's a lot like any musical instrument. I think you need something to start with, but it's not a matter of how sophisticated your first ventriloquial figure is. If you have a love for the art, you can make anything talk and use it. And we have great examples with Jay Johnson
Yeah,
and
using
Spalding,
tennis ball.
the tennis ball, or Ron Lucas uses that in his act.
Yeah.
So even the great ones go and show on stage that it's not about the puppet, that there's no technical gimmick or something inside. Another good thing to be at the convention to make sure there is no electronic gimmick or something in it. No, it can be done the way we do it here,
Yeah, and
handmade.
for
Yes.
Geeksery, they say they are a puppeteer, but they don't know how to find the puppet. But there are many ways. Luckily now with the internet, with Amazon, that's where I got one of my first puppets. On Amazon, there's also where I got Chris, Steve Axtell, Axtell Expressions, and many many
Excel.
more websites online, which you can research and look through, um, and you can choose whatever you like, whatever you think will fit what you want to use. And for example, Axtell Expressions, they can make personalized puppets, or they have puppets that are already made there, and you just need to buy them, and they will ship them to you. But it's based also on preference and what you're looking for. So luckily now with the internet, there are many um, options available. Also, like
Yeah,
Steve
there are
was
good
saying.
puppeteers out there, and there are some puppeteers who specialize in making puppets for ventriloquists, which are a little bit different from puppets for puppeteers, but we don't have to go into detail here. And you mentioned the name Axtell Expressions, Axtell, Axtell. That's uh, they started out with figures for ventriloquists. They make figures for puppeteers too. There's, as I say, a little difference there, but that's just to look at the website and enjoy the videos that are out there and see the different characters. That's also that's the home for Chris, as far as I know.
Yeah.
But then again, it's not about the puppet you buy; it's about the character that the ventriloquist develops for his stage partner. And if you're good, and if talent and practice and a tiny bit of luck comes into it, then you get a person and a personality as confident and as self-contained as Chris and Theo.
Yeah.
You didn't mention me. I didn't. You should have. I should have. You didn't again. You did it again. Oops. Oops. I did it again.
Oops. I did it again. Oh my. And then we're gonna have a dance battle over here.
Yes.
Mm, 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 mm. Boots and cats and boots
Oh,
and
can I do that? I thought you can do anything. Oh yes, I forgot. I can do anything.
cats.
What about the other hand? Well, I'm using the other hand. On my other hand. Oh, your other hand. Well, that's another hand there. Yeah, I can. Only I have one free hand. Okay. Now,
So
Chris can do more with his hands.
yeah, because
Well,
he
I can
has
do.
two armor rods. It's kind of funny because I thought these were supposed to restrain you. Why? Well, I don't know. They look like handcuffs, but instead they enhance me. Yeah, they make me move.
I don't have handcuffs.
Yeah, they make me fix
It's
my
cuffs on your
hair.
shirt.
Yeah, look at
No
that.
cufflinks.
But if you would like, there are some questions here, and then
Oh
we can
yes.
answer because
Questions.
we're
Questions.
also gonna talk about your other career as well a little bit, and
My
then
other
maybe if you
career.
have more questions for
Yeah,
that
my
as
other career.
well,
Can
you
I
can
sit
ask it
down? You
too.
can sit down. Can I get in the suitcase? You want to go on the
Oh
suitcase?
no.
Oh yes, I got a PlayStation there. You have a PlayStation? Who got you the PlayStation? Never mind. Put me there. You.
Don't worry
Okay.
about it, Steve.
Bye bye.
Bye. Take care, Theo. Oh man.
Says he has a PlayStation in his
Yeah, I
suitcase.
do
I gotta
too.
check that out later.
We play
Who?
together.
Yeah. Oh, that's what he does it all the time. I've been wondering. He's sometimes I want to get him out, and he says, "Well, I'm playing with it. Yeah, I can't come
A
now."
little
I
late.
call him for dinner. No, I'm at this and that level. And I said, no, you're on the upper level. No, I'm in level 53 or something. And I said, no, our house doesn't have 53 levels. And he told me he's on a. So it's difficult. And Chris, you know what that is like.
Yeah, I do, because I play with him. Sometimes I hear you. And I'm like, say hello to Steve, and he says, I will. But I don't
Hmm.
think he ever says hello to you. Firmly, yeah.
No, very rarely.
Yeah,
Very rarely.
it's
But
okay.
I talk, we gotta get into a serious talk.
Yeah, but at least I'm here to say hello to you
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah, serious talk. My other career. Well, actually, when I was thinking about this interview, and the question was, why am I so fascinated with the art of ventriloquism?
Yeah, that
At the
also.
beginning, I think it was because it gave me a complete different um, role, a different life, a different universe, where it didn't matter what I do in my day job. It just doesn't matter. It's interesting to know if someone is a TV reporter or a puppet maker or a mortician or prison guard or policeman. It's interesting to know and talk to them about it, but it doesn't matter if you're a ventriloquist. That's what counts, or if you're interested in ventriloquism. So people ask me, do I use the puppet on the ward in my job? And I don't, because people who have serious problems with limb deficiency, either congenital or acquired, had an amputation. That's a serious thing, and you expect your doctors to be for real, to
Yeah,
be serious, to be reliable, to be doctors. And there's a part for fun. And I have good friends who are clowns in hospitals. They go in and give some comic relief, and then when they appear for children and for adults, they know this is not the time for a ward round. This is not the time for examinations or for painful procedures or anything like that. This is the fun time. So I kept that separate, with two exceptions. One exception was we had a summer barbecue at our hospital with all the patients, with patients who had amputations and prosthetic devices. And I have a figure which is a pirate with a peg leg, with a wooden leg. So I brought out that figure with uh, the old salt. It's called. It's a seaman who has a peg leg, and that was a horrible performance for me because that figure really gave me a hard time, and all the patients could relate to that. And we had great fun. They had great fun. I didn't have so much fun, but because the figure had a peg leg and all these jokes about wooden legs and amputees were a completely different story there with most of the audience who had gone through the same terrible times in their lives. So that was kind of fun. And the other thing was that I said at my professor's birthday, where it was for the staff.
yeah,
But then again, I was not in the role of treating patients. So I think puppets should be kept away from therapy, because puppets are something people confide in. It's your when they tell me that a house burned down and the fireman gave the house burned down, gave them a teddy bear. I think, oh, now great. Every time this child sees a teddy bear, he or she has to think that, oh, that's when the house burned down. So no, it's something that's close to your heart and close to your soul, and it shouldn't be mixed and interfered with serious things like tragic events um, or uh,
yeah,
health issues and stuff like that. But it helped me in a way to be in a completely different setting, and to not think about the serious things in my professional life. And it's it's a comic relief. You're at a stage in your life, Nick, where you don't have a day job, a professional job as yet. But still, I think there are days or times, hours, minutes without Chris so close, and you can have your own life. It's hard with someone like Chris, I know, but you should
what a
strive.
family.
Yes, family, yeah.
Hmm. But he doesn't have a job, so I ain't gotta go to work. You work?
Mm.
Yeah, I work in construction. Yeah. Yeah, you wanna hear my construction joke? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind, I'm still working on it.
I get it. Mm.
All right. Well, Chris, I'm gonna put you down now because we're gonna read some of the questions, and I also would like to put because we started a new live stream. I would also like to put Steve-O's social medias so everyone can go check him out because I did that in the other live stream, and this one I didn't because we had to start it again. So I'm gonna have to put you down. Um, you can go eat a sandwich. No, I'm gonna go play PlayStation with Steve-O. No, no, not with Steve-O, with Theo. Yeah. Yeah, Steve-O doesn't know
Yeah.
how to play PlayStation, I think.
I don't have a clue. I know Theo does.
Yeah.
Theo?
So I'm gonna go.
Chris on yet? No, he's not. He's gonna come. He's gonna
Yeah,
join
coming.
you soon.
Yeah, give me 1 second, man. I'm trying to get out of this. Yeah, alright. Bye,
Okay.
Steve-O.
Thank you,
See you
Chris.
later.
Bye bye.
Oh, wait, I gotta say bye to everyone. Alright. Bye, everyone. See you later. That hurts. Alright, okay. Okay, sorry. Okay. Okay, so, let me just quickly put your social medias. Let me copy it from here that I put it on Discord. Um, and let me just quickly put it on here. Let me fix it so it looks better this way. Here you go. So, before we get to the questions, I also had another question which I forgot to get to, and I think this would be a good time. Is you got started on TikTok as well. So how is, and you have been on YouTube, but TikTok is more recent. So how has that been for you?
Well, you know, Nick, that you are the reason why I started my TikTok channel, because we were at the convention 2 years ago, and your dad posted your performance, and he showed me the next day. He showed me how many clicks you had, and I was blown away. I was simply, it was just incredible to think that the performance that I had actually seen the night before of you, and you did a great job, by the
Thank
way.
you.
Um, and your dad posted it, and it had, I don't know, 10 thousands of clicks the
Yeah, I
next
remember it
morning
was
already.
one. It was a short clip, and it got a lot of views. I remember we were
A
showing it.
lot. And I said, well, this is how do you do this? And I talked to you. I said, well, how do you do this? And you said, oh, it's very simple. And I said, I was, BBC, born before computers, so I don't have a clue. But I found out that the only way to get a feel for what it is like is to actually do it. And so I got my smartphone out, and I looked at, how I looked at, videos like how to do TikTok. There was no way of rehearsing. You got to do it. You got to learn by doing it. And I started it, and it was a great experience. And it also it gave some jokes on stage, because when we both were on stage in at Fest in Spencer, Indiana, and the MC mentioned your number of followers, and I came on, and then he said, well, and Steve has a TikTok account too, and he has at that time I had 139 followers. It was a big joke, because compared to you, I'm just whatever, little spot on the wall. But it's okay. It taught me a lot. It showed me how this thing works, and it's kind of fun to think ahead and plan and do this. But it's I know that I'm the odd one out. It's not for my age group. It's not for my interest group. But it is kind of fun, and I get really good respect and admiration for people who go on and are live improvising with the figure and answering and reading at the same time. And also, it helps me to shorten the jokes to
Yeah,
really get
because
into this mood of getting a quick joke and a quick routine out. And so that's basically I've had a lot of fun. I met a few people on TikTok who I befriended, and now I have a number of followers in Brazil, and they post their stuff in Portuguese, and it's another little push to improve on my Portuguese. So no, I think it's a great way to do it, but I'm sure it will develop. I'm sure, like, years ago we didn't have TikTok, and I remember days before YouTube, and there were days when we had to fax each other, and there were no emails and stuff. So, and I was on Facebook for a while, and on Facebook, I think nobody is on Facebook anymore. I'm not. I've had enough photos of cats and food. So I didn't want to be on that. And I know your generation is a lot on TikTok, and it's gonna evolve and develop and have new formats and new things. And as long as I can take part of it, that's another good thing about ventriloquism, that age doesn't really enter into it. Like where I could be your dad or your granddad if I had started having kids early, and still we're just friends, buddies. It doesn't enter much into our friendship. It's not like in other sports or where you're someone who's uh, almost 40 years older than you is something that you don't even want to talk to. But in ventriloquism, it is like that, and I enjoy talking to the next generation of ventriloquists who come up, and I encourage them to do their own style and their own material and their own. But it's interesting, and it's good to know about the tradition and the history of the art. And if you meet people who have a history in the art themselves, and you can talk to them and find out, that's a great thing in ventriloquism too. That at the convention you can meet people who had their heydays in the days of early television or even before that.
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about, like you said, ventriloquism. Age doesn't matter there, because like
It could be
actors.
the same with butterfly collecting or I don't know, anything. But I'm just not in that
Yeah,
scene, so
but
not
it's not.
taking away
It's the
anything
same
from
thing with
anyone
acting.
else.
Actors act until whatever age, till
Yeah,
90. But in sports, like you said, you after 40 you're kind of done unless you're a coach or
but
something.
James Dean didn't, but that had a reason.
Yeah.
I'm not sure your age group would get it, but if you Google James Dean, then you'll find out why he never performed when he was an old man. Hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure there are some people here that are older and will know. But are you ready for some of the questions that they've put?
Go ahead, shoot. Yeah,
Okay, so first I want to say thank you very much everyone for joining. Thank you very much Bob, Andrea, K Dancer 12, Michael Henderson, Mr. Top Head Frog, um, Lozaline Salakielu, thank you very much. Um, Joe Garnett, thank you very much. Angel Lazama, Nave Douglas, Keeksari, Bloxy, Jaden Bechtold, and Taylor Swift fan, and Miraculous Ladybug fan, and Declan Young. Thank you very much, guys, for joining and commenting, and also everyone else. Thank you very much, Clacy, for joining. I really, really appreciate it. And yeah, okay. So some of the questions. Um, okay, here we had the first question, which we answered about the improvisation. Um, we had a comment from Bob Y, which is not a question, but I wanted to read it to you. Bob Y said, "Thanks, Nick. Sorry, I have to run. Awesome interview. Please thank your guest for me. Awesome job." So,
thank you, thank you.
and Joe Garnett says, or Angel Lazama says, um, "Hey Nicholas, maybe you should check out Melissa and Doug puppets." So, are you familiar with Melissa and Doug puppets? Because I'm not sure I've heard.
I know a ventriloquist called Melissa from Panama. She was on the
Yeah,
international show last year, but I'm not sure about if she's a puppet maker. I, I, I'm not familiar with the name, but that maybe it's Mary Ann Taylor's daughter is called Melissa.
yeah, but I'm not familiar with those puppets, and that was a question from when we were talking about puppets and where to find them. So I wanted to ask you because I don't think I've heard of them, Melissa and Doug.
Well, that's
Um,
one of the top puppet makers for ventriloquists is Mary Ann Taylor,
yeah,
and her daughter is called Melissa. So
but
she made a couple of
yeah, I
famous
think
puppets.
yeah we answered the questions already. That was it. I thought there was more, but
Hmm.
yeah. So thank you very much, everyone, for the questions. I thought there was more questions, but we answered them
So
already.
who interviews you?
Who interviews me?
Yeah,
Yeah, I do.
except Chris does. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've done some interviews in the past with. I did one with another Twitch streamer, Evan. Um, but unfortunately, I couldn't get the live to post it for everyone else who missed it and to see it for myself. But maybe I will do one once again with him, and whenever I do, I post them. I tell everyone that I will be doing them a day or a few hours before. But yeah, we'll see if I do get another interview. But thank you for coming and for doing this. I really, really
It
appreciate it.
was fun and a pleasure. Yeah,
I really enjoyed
great.
it. And for everyone, once again, go check out Stevo on YouTube and on TikTok. Go follow him. Go subscribe to his YouTube channel. He makes great content in English, from what I've seen
It's
on
in English, yeah.
TikTok. Yeah.
That's about the YouTube channel. It's not really a live YouTube channel, but those who want to know more about the technical sides of how do hard and traditional ventriloquist figures work, about the mechanics of it, if they can go to my YouTube channel and look at the oldest videos. They're, I don't know, 15 years old, and I made them for a puppet maker in Eastern Europe who didn't know how these puppets work. So I got out my figures from my collection from the Dummy Depot and showed him how the mechanics work, something that Theo hates on live or on stage when I show that. So that's something that those who are really interested in to know something about the mechanics can be seen, which is something you never see in a ventriloquist show on stage. And it's certainly something that the puppets don't really approve of. So it's, be discreet.
Yeah, good thing I don't have Chris anymore here because he would have definitely said something about that. But um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, check out his TikTok. I put them in the comments. And once
Hmm.
again, it's Deutsches Dummy. This is his YouTube, Deutsches Dummy Depot. That's it, Deutsches Dummy Depot altogether. And then his TikTok is at Bauchredner Stevo, which means
Which
ventriloquist.
is the German word for ventriloquist. Yeah.
Yeah,
But the channel is in English
yeah,
exclusively. There's
that's the
not a
cool
single
thing is
German.
that
I've been asked to do that in German, but I said no. I started in English, and once I'm in my English brain, then it's hard to switch over to German. And same with Theo. It's funny. It's the same with Theo.
somebody asked how to spell your YouTube, so let me just put it. Um, I already put it up, so let me just spell it once
Yeah,
again.
it's in the comments. Is it?
Yeah,
Deutsches
but
Dummy
I'm gonna
Depot.
put it once again for
Because
everyone.
there's also a website for the Deutsches Dummy Depot, because it's a place where I have figures that are looking for a new home. Uh, but those are high-end professional vent figures. They're definitely not the type of vent figure you need or you want to have when you're starting out. And you should. My advice is, if you want to get a puppet or a ventriloquial figure, it's a good idea to see it in 3 dimensions, to put your hand in it, to play with them, and to see if the chemistry is there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, thank you very much, Steve. Once again, I really, really appreciate it. I definitely enjoyed this live, and everyone else did too. Um, I hope you did, and I
I
think
did.
they did enjoy it. Some people, a lot of people saying thank you and loving the interview. So thank you very much. This
Yeah,
was
I have to have a serious talk with Theo now, because he didn't really say goodbye and thanks to the audience, to the you folks who listened in and tuned in. But he's not educated in these ways yet. He's kind of sometimes he's a bit selfish. It's hard. It's tough. But
that's
I have
okay,
a
but we appreciate him
talk with
coming
him. And
over.
maybe he gets some feedback on TikTok channel. I never know what he comes up with. He's
But
he's
thank you very
testing
much.
out the limits, like some of us do. But well, Nicholas, thank
Thank
you very
you,
much for
Nikolas.
having us.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. I just
And
wanted
we'll
to
be
say
in
this.
touch, and I hope to see you when I come over to the States
Yeah, he will be coming
summer.
over. Yeah, I wanted to mention that he will be coming over in a few days, in a few
Yeah,
maybe a
2 weeks
week.
from now, less than 2 weeks,
Uh,
we'll be at Spencer, Indiana Advent Fest.
yeah, in Spencer, Indiana. And if you are in Spencer, Indiana, or in Indiana, or in Ohio, there's gonna be a vent fest where there will be ventriloquists performing, and Steve will be there. Ron Lucas will be there. Are you gonna be there? Well, maybe we're not sure yet. We are not sure if we're gonna be there. Well, I wanna go. All right, we'll see. All right. So we'll see if we're gonna be there. But if you are, definitely go check out the Vent Fest. in Spencer, Indiana. The website is ventfest.org. So I'm gonna put that in the chat as well for
Yeah,
everyone to
anyone
see.
who's near Indianapolis or even Western Ohio or that part of the world, it's a great experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really beautiful, very
Theater.
nice small country town not far from Bloomington, Indiana, and it's a special. It's an old theater that Steve Witham got for us ventriloquists. So it's hard to believe that a show like that is put on stage in such a small town as Spencer, Indiana. It's a real secret tip for anyone who's around that area and wants to see top world class ventriloquists
Yeah.
live on stage. And I
Ron
can only say that
Lucas
because I'm
and
not
Willie
performing
Tyler.
this year. I wouldn't claim that when I'm in the roster, but um, I'll be there to help out. And if you ever if you come there, make sure you talk to me and come up to me and say, "Oh, I saw you on YouTube," and then we'll have a good time there.
Yeah, so the performers there this year will be Ron Lucas and Willie Tyler, which
Hmm.
a lot of people here, a lot of older people, have seen those ventriloquists when they were younger, and yeah, they will be performing there. So it's gonna be great, organized by Steve Witham, who's working really hard to do all of this, and it's for us
Yeah.
ventriloquists, it's really really appreciated, because all this hard work to get ventriloquists there, to organize the show, get the theater, and it's a lot of hard work and a lot of time, and he's doing a great job. So go check it out in Spencer, Indiana. The website already put in the comments, ventfest.org, and
And
yeah,
did you put a mark to Vent Haven
Event
to the
Haven.
convention?
Yeah, let me just do
You
that.
gotta put that
That too.
in the comments or someplace so people can find venthaven.org or something what it's called.
Yeah,
Make sure.
let me put that. Thank you for reminding me.
Didn't do that? Yeah, he did. He didn't do it before? No, he what?
There it is,
Go and play with Chris.
vhconvention.com. So I put that in as well. And of course, this live will be posted after we end it. So this is the second time I've done an interview. I did one with Larry Venturino, who is a comedian and has his talent agency based in Florida, and he performs all over the United States as well. That was on TikTok. This is the first one that I've done on YouTube like this. So I thank you very much, Steve, for coming here, and I really, really enjoyed it. As always, like it felt like a normal conversation of when we talk, and more proper because I didn't know some of the things like when I've asked you how did you get started. So there was a lot of cool facts that I got to hear, and everyone else did. So thank you very much, and
So
I hope.
let's hope everybody enjoyed it, and let's wrap it up and say goodbye to everyone. And you'll be back soon on your channel.
Yeah.
And if I get a deal with Theo, we'll be back on TikTok. But it's tough getting him up to the attic to the little studio we have there.
Yeah, so
So I
hope to have
say
you back.
bye bye
Thank
now,
you.
and it's almost good night in Germany now, but it's still afternoon where you guys are because you time zones.
Yeah,
Anyway, it was fun talking to you. It
thank
was
you.
nice. I'm sure Theo had a good time. It did. Okay, good. That's it. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you very much. Go follow him. Good night. All right, here we go. Let me just switch the camera. Okay, there we go. So thank you very much, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed the live, and I hope you got to learn more about ventriloquism and enjoyed this cool, different type of live with the interview. And can I come back and say bye? All right, okay. Chris wants to come back. Yeah, because they ask them. They care about me. They always say, "Where's Chris?" So here I am. But yeah, that was great, man. Stilo is great. Go check him out. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for joining. I hope you enjoyed the live. Stay safe, stay happy, keep laughing. Those are the most important things, along with family. We will post this live right after, and for those who want to watch it again, or who missed it and wanted to watch it, or who missed part of it and wanted to watch the rest. But thank you very much, and see you guys in the next video or in the next live. Bye bye. See you later, alligator. Bye, 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 bye. Man, that was good.